We're a content collaboration platform based in Palo Alto. And I want to tell you a little bit about the work that we've done to use artificial intelligence and machine learning to try to help professionals learn more quickly. But specifically, I want to tell you about a little bit of a pivot we're making into the teacher professional learning space because we're trying to focus there specifically. We're based in Palo Alto. We're 5 years old. GSV is actually our lead investor. And we've been working with a lot of large enterprises, Renault, Roche, Mercedes-Benz, 3M, to help professional learning. But as I mentioned, we're very interested in figuring out how we can apply this more to teaching. I don't know if you guys know the work of John Hattie, but he's an amazing researcher in Australia that's basically measured the 195 different things that we try to do to influence and improve student learning. The vast majority of those have to do with what teachers do in the classroom. I think we know this intuitively, but the data bears out that there's nothing more powerful we can do than to help teachers improve their practices. And we've also been taken by the work of the RAND Corporation and an amazing teacher panel that they have where they're talking to thousands and thousands of teachers every quarter. And basically they found out that the key issues that teachers are struggling with, and any of us who spend time in the classroom know this too, is content. What do I do on Monday morning when I'm trying to figure out how to help my middle schoolers with number sense? And also collaboration. How can I practice with my fellows how to do that better approach to number sense in middle school or whatever it might be? So wrestling with content, particularly in the context here in the United States of Common Core and assessments, and yet this sort of missing middle of content. And then collaboration where we just don't have time as teachers to do what we need to do. So these are the key issues that we've been working on, and we've been really lucky, even as a young startup, to have national deployments in Australia, in Mexico, and now in California. In Australia, we have all of the teachers on our platform. They're using Declara to implement the new national curriculum. We've done some magical things with their content. We actually ingested 20 years worth of curricular content from five different national content stores, used our semantic analysis to make all of that discoverable so that now 800 professional learning communities across the country are using this wonderful content that was previously inaccessible to improve their practices. In Mexico, we've been used by the largest teachers union in the second largest in the Americas, 1.5 million member CENTE, and their teachers were using us to improve their outcomes on very high stakes new national exams, and all those teachers who worked on Declara outperformed all of their peers. Most recently, we've been selected as the statewide collaboration platform for all educators in California, and there we're working on the implementation of Common Core and the assessments, as well as issues around labor management and local control. And there we've also ingested massive amounts of content and are beginning to roll out user communities that work in and through that content. So what does Declara do? Essentially, we help users work in private teams, in public collections, on content from anywhere on the web, or content they've created, or content that we've ingested from any platform, as we did in Australia. And then we ingest that content, we analyze it so that we understand not just the metadata, but everything that's going on semantically in that content. And perhaps most importantly, we put an annotation layer on top of it so that you can highlight, mark, and actually discuss in line. So all of a sudden, we're having a conversation at the sentence that has this really great insight that I want to share with you about number sense in our middle school classroom. I'm not emailing an article to you or posting it on a social network, which I know crowds my life more than I'd like. So now I'm having atomic level conversations, which help, in this context, a private team, through the highlights, understand what's going on in an environment here, particularly for California math standards. Declara also allows you to work in public collections. Here's a collection on EdTech, and we have about 80 curators of content that are bringing in content from anywhere on the web using our browser extension or our application. They can also highlight text within that and share it much more broadly. We most recently have been granted a generous award by the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative to deepen the learning science in our AI and build out something we call learning journeys. And that's putting more of a kind of learning trajectory on the collections and the teams that we've always used, because now we say, what are you trying to learn? How do you curate content in a collaborative way and annotate that content? And then did you achieve your outcome or not? So we're beginning to put hard data on the soft interactions of collaborative curation and beginning to dovetail into the more formal assessments that we're using, and we're very grateful for CZI's engagement there. So collaborative curation, obviously the functionality here is common to, I think, a lot of tools that are out in the market. I think our secret sauce, our unfair advantage, is what we're doing around the fusion of artificial intelligence and cognitive neuroscience as we try to understand the way in which intent and reputation and your graphs together create what we call a cognitive graph, which is your individual marker of who you are as a learner. And specifically what we're doing is we're bringing in inputs from the users. What are you trying to get done? What are your interests? To whom are you connected? What do you know? From the content, how long did you linger on that page? Did you highlight a lot or a little? Were those highlights then shared? Were they nodes for collaboration by other people? And then finally, we're doing some very interesting work around neural nets, where we're able to draw inferences and make recommendations outside of existing taxonomies. What that means is if you're taking courses on Coursera or on an LMS, there's a scope and sequence that allows us to understand your pathway. Very useful for adaptive learning, but truly personalized learning allows us to follow you regardless of whether you're working on an existing taxonomy or ontology, and our use of neural net algorithms is allowing us to do that. And the end result of that is that we want to, in this case, help teachers become smarter faster, help you find the content, the communities, the experts, the peers that you want. We do that through this feed of content, which is refreshed in real time, continually based on the cognitive graph. And what we're trying to do is increasingly anticipate your needs so that we begin to link student needs in the classroom, your interest, your cognitive graph, to what you need to learn more quickly, and hopefully save you the time that you don't have as teachers. Eager for your feedback as we take the kind of functionality that's being used in large corporations and iterate some on our user interface, our analytics, so that we can become a more effective tool specifically for teachers. Thank you.